Hey guys, how's it hanging? It's the Tominator, and this weekend is all about the 2023 Arnold Classic, the second biggest show of the year. And now that we've seen the prejudging for the Classic Physique division, let's go ahead and break down this top call-out. So this was your top four, and from left to right, we've got Alex Cambronero, Urs Kalsinski, Mike Sommerfeld, and Ramon Rocha-Quiros. And I probably butchered that, so from here on out, we're just going to call him Ramon. And now they move the Brazilian into the middle, as they should. Spoiler alert, but this guy is winning the show. Barring some major change or upset in the finals tonight, he's going to take it, probably with perfect scores, but we'll have to wait and find out. One or two judges might prefer Urs. But anyway, here in the front relaxed, I do actually like Urs the most. He's got a great V-taper, very wide cap delts, and some good sweep on the quads. Ramon looks a little underwhelming upstairs, with flatter shoulders and pecs. He was slightly more ripped, perhaps, which you can tell by looking at the quads, but maybe not quite as full. But in the front double biceps, I'll tell you what holds Urs back, and that is the arms, plain and simple. His legs and lats are so dang big, the arms just look disproportionate, even though they're probably not that much smaller than Ramon's if you were to measure them. Both of them brought great conditioning, but I feel like the lighting is once again a little too dark. The color just looks off on everyone as a result, but what else is new, right? We really shouldn't be surprised anymore when they continue to fuck it up show after show, year after year. Hopefully they brighten it up a bit tonight and tomorrow so that we can pick out those finer details more. But anyway, Alex on the left has the best arms of the group, and no real weak points to speak of, but he doesn't have the same level of dryness as these two, so I see him coming in third. Mike the Badass, as he's called, over there on the right, I felt he looked a little better a couple months ago at the Olympia, but again, maybe that's just down to the lighting. He has a great structure and really fills out his physique, but the conditioning was a step down from these other guys. The side chest shot goes to Ramon. He's polished from head to toe, the shoulders look much better now, and the arm thickness really pulls him ahead. Those forearms are the icing on the cake, some of the very best in the world right now. Urs might have the edge downstairs with those massive legs and striated glutes, but the arms are too stringy. They really let him down here, even more so than in the first pose, because now the difference between him and Ramon is clear as day. Alex is showing some nice cuts through the obliques, but the leg detail isn't really coming through, and Mike likewise looks a little soft. From the back, we can indeed confirm just how peeled Ramon was by simply glancing at the lower back and glutes. Everything else was dialed in too. There's not an ounce of water remaining, and he was just dry as a bone, so he wins on the conditioning front. That said, the more I look at this, the more I'm actually leaning towards Urs. His back, which was formerly a major weakness, looks wider and more developed, and he's showing more definition through the hamstrings, and calves too, for what that's worth. The shoulders also look huge. Unfortunately, the arms still kinda suck, but then again, Ramon's don't exactly look great here either. In fact, Ramon overall looks a little too flat and slender. Sommerfeld has a great outline and structure with some very meaty lats, but the legs look a little too thin from the rear, and he needs to be crisper down the middle of his back. Alex Cambronero is perhaps the most balanced of the lot when we go body part for body part, although the lats look sorta oddly jagged, and he gets outsized and outconditioned, especially downstairs. Now, the ab and thigh is a bit of a toss-up. I like Ramon when they're crunching down, because he has more nicely formed and fully separated abdominals, but Urs probably performs better in the vacuum with those flaring lats. Actually, you know what? I gotta say that Ramon's ribcage looks bigger, and his vacuum is more sunken here. Not sure Urs fully sucked it in this time, so yeah, this one goes to the Brazilian, no doubt. Mike Sommerfeld looks good. He's got arguably the best midsection of them all, but his waistline is a little wider and the thighs aren't showing much sweep, so that leaves him looking relatively blocky. And as for Alex, I just don't think he can hang with these top two in the lower half. And his midsection was never a highlight either, certainly not by classic standards. He fares better doing the twisting version, but it's still not enough. Lastly, in the classic pose of their choice, it's Ramon all day in the Arnold-esque three-quarter bi. He shouldn't have even bothered doing a second shot, in my opinion, since it's pretty anticlimactic after this. But, well, it's still a pretty easy victory for him. Like I said, it wouldn't be surprising to see him wind up with perfect scores here after round 1. Urs looks to have second place on lock, and then it'll likely be Alex taking third. Okay, so that said, I gotta be honest with you guys, this was kind of a snooze fest. I don't know what it is, but this division just isn't really captivating me, nor living up to its namesake. When I think of classic physiques, I think of guys like Arnold and Haney, or even early 90s versions of Flex Wheeler and Sean Ray. And I think it's safe to say that none of this current field can even remotely hold a candle next to these champions of the past. No offense to guys like Ramon, who looked crazy shredded here and impressive in his own right, but they all look overly depleted and flat. The muscles look worn and gritty and tired, not round and fresh and youthful as they should, considering how young most of them are. Be my guest, go watch Flex Wheeler in 1993, and tell me that isn't a million times better than what we see here. Now, I realize that physique was arguably the greatest of all time, but still, the difference shouldn't be so blatant, not after 30 years of advancements. If you ask me, this whole weight cap thing has got to be reconsidered, perhaps scrapped altogether, because all it seems to be doing at this point is holding these guys back and making everyone come in ultra lean and flat. And while we're at it, let's add back in the missing poses so we can fully assess the physique, the side triceps and the lat spreads. 4 poses just isn't enough variety, and it doesn't give them enough opportunities to shine or expose weaknesses. So anybody thinking that CP is the future of bodybuilding and will ultimately displace the open category, you're dreaming. I can virtually guarantee that the men's open tonight will be way more exciting than this was, just based on the lineup alone. And thank God for that, because this absolutely wasn't worth the $70 price of admission. Anyway, rant over. Sorry to be negative, but it was just hard not to feel a little underwhelmed after watching this, especially considering that the Olympia seemed way more exciting with that head-to-head matchup we saw with C-Bum. I don't know, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think? In any case, be on the lookout for more reviews to come this weekend. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll be back.